So if you're anything like me, you've spent the last few days or even weeks since its release playing Far Cry 5, either on your lonesome or with a co-op buddy. If you're still like me, you've probably completed the final mission recently, picked one of the endings, and then proceeded to angrily rant on Reddit about how cop-out of an ending this otherwise fantastic game had. I'm not sure if I'm alone in this, but the weight and presentation of the ending to a game can completely change my opinion of it, and I'm aware of how immature this mindset can be, but I really hate an ending that undermines the entire point of the story. In 2017's Prey, you play as Morgan Yu, and you explore a space station that's been overtaken by monsters. Now, throughout the game, you'll uncover the mysteries and explore the lore of the world and answer the questions, but at the end you discover that it was all a dream, you were dead all along, and the world is destroyed. It's the biggest fuck you ever. My opinion on a game constantly shifts in the hours after finishing it, much like cooling down after being angry for a while or like a wound healing. There's too many emotions, thoughts, ideas, interpretations, and the like swimming in my brain, and it's difficult to get a solid answer on how I truly feel about the game. As of writing this script, I completed the quote-unquote good ending of Far Cry 5 about 20 minutes ago, and I'm pulling everything from the pool of mixed emotions. For those who haven't finished Far Cry 5, don't. Just don't. Do not finish it, please. That being said, there are spoilers beyond this point. Far Cry 5 begins by introducing the player to the Project at Eden's Gate, the 5's cult, and it's heavily implied that throughout the game, Faith, John, Joseph and Jacob are insane leaders of this doomsday cult that believe the end is nigh and are preparing their flock for the end. Initially there was certainly some logic behind this. The game reflects real-life events, with the ever-increasing fear of war and the strenuous relationship between North Korea and USA, making doomsday preppers seem just a little more sane than usual. A cult that's preparing for the end of the world actually makes sense in real life and in game. A group that people actually have a reason to believe in and join of their own free will. This is where Ubi fucked up. Instead of having the cultists actually insane people who thought the world was ending, they're actually just people kidnapped and brainwashed by drugs into following a misguided ideology. Why was this thought to be a good idea? You have the perfect setup, a believable setup for a Far Cry game no less, and you go and throw it away. Instead of actual cultists that fear the end of the world and that are going to drastic measures to prepare for it, you're making them nothing more than obedient hounds ready for the slaughter, taking away the conflict of morality which would have worked much better in this setting. But I'm getting off track. I'm pissed at the ending of this game. Well, endings. Far Cry has 3. The extremely forced, yet somehow more logical than the rest, secret ending, in which the player at the beginning of the game, if you don't arrest the father during the prologue, you just walk out of the church, retreat with your companions to call in a larger military force. Fair enough. Far Cry 4 had it, so you had to slap it on Far Cry 5 and call it a day. There's also the good and bad endings. As you approach the father's church for a final time, he gives you the same choices he gave you in the prologue. Walk away or attempt to arrest him. If you walk away, the sheriff and the other deputies all get into a car and leave Hope County and head off to get the National Guard. As they drive away, the sheriff turns on the radio and Only You begins to play. If you are paying attention, you know that this song is the brainwashing song that triggers you to go into a violent rage and murder everyone in sight. The game cuts to black and the credits roll as the sheriff asks if you're feeling okay. That's the bad ending. Yeah. You wanna know what the good ending is? Nuclear fucking war. Yeah, that's right. After you finish the final boss battle with the father, if you try to arrest him, nukes start going off. You speed away in a car with the deputies and the father and try to get to Dutch's bunker. Now everyone but you and the father are killed and he takes you into the bunker, murders Dutch, ties you up and says some horseshit about he was right and how you're going to emerge into the light of the new world and he's your father and you're his child, all this religious horseshit. The thing that gets me about this ending, the supposed good ending, is that it's the longest one, which we can safely assume Ubisoft wants us to believe is canon, is that we spent the entire fucking game working to uproot these fanatic cultists and their leaders and bring them to justice and set things right, only to find out that they were right all along. What a twist! That's an M. Night Shyamalan level twist. And I'm not talking The Village or Sixth Sense twistery here. I'm talking Devil, The Happening, Lady in the Water level bullshittery right here. It's just another kick in the crown jewels for someone who wanted something meaningful from their ending. Sure, an ending like this might have worked 5 or 10 years ago, but it's been done into the ground ever since, and it's quite frankly insulting to someone who's put nearly 50 hours into this game since its release. Yes, it's alright to have a big wowzer twist ending at the end of your game, if it's done right. A way better way is to have a kicker. A perfect example of this is Far Cry 4, where Pagan Min turned out to be the lesser of two evils. and the only thing keeping the balance between the North and the South. Sure, he was a murdering, pillaging asshole, but he kept everything from getting too out of hand. The kicker ending was the realization of this fact, and that your end goal to kill pagan men wouldn't change the fact that the country is fucked beyond repair. That's a good kicker ending. It's unexpected, it's not far-fetched, and most importantly, it's not insulting. While this does kind of undermine my statement before of an all-for-nothing ending, at this point it hadn't been done to death. From my travels to various review blogs and Reddit posts, I've seen many people speculating on whether or not any ending is canon, and this was just a setup for a final post-apocalyptic Far Cry 6 that would cap off the series, or it was just a hallucination from the Bliss. I think it's great to have an ending open to interpretation, but you actually have to have it open. People aren't discussing the morality between endings, or speculating as to whether or not the cult was justified in its movements. They're wondering if your shitty cop-out ending was real or not, and whether you're just setting up for a sequel. So, do all of Far Cry 5's endings suck? The obvious answer is yes. They are poorly written, slapped-on pieces of shit that feel so ham-fisted I'm surprised they aren't being carved onto a pig and shoved in my face. The problems with these endings, in short, is that they don't respect the player. They don't respect the journey that they've taken to get to this point. It feels like the developers didn't even play through the game before they slapped on the ending, and yes, I admit the bad ending is rather fun to think about. It works as the secret non-canon ending that's obviously not real and is just more of a teaser. The good ending, and I'll say it one last time, is an insulting pile of shit. Strangely enough, the only game, in my humble opinion, to get the multiple endings thing right was Black Ops 2. To really get the best ending, you had to make the hard choices and sacrifices had to be made. To really get the best ending, you had to make the hard choices and sacrifices had to be made, and in the end, Menendez lost, but only if you made the right choices. If you made the easy ones, or the ones with the best immediate outcome, Menendez won. If you saved Harper, Fareed died and wasn't able to stop Salazar killing Chloe, who wasn't able to stop the cyber attack. Stepping stone endings like that would have worked out so much better if Ubisoft wanted a bittersweet Pyrrhic victory. Ubi, you had 4 other characters that the player began with. You could have made them important, but instead chose to have them just as quest vendors. This is my suggestion to fix these issues. Have the player much more personally involved with these side characters. Perhaps even a permanent companion to the player. Then have a member of the Seed family fuck with them or kill them. It evokes an emotional response from the player, making them question whether to follow along with the law and arrest the lieutenant, or kill them, taking revenge on them. Make basic choices like this have far-reaching consequences that affect the end of the game, instead of the illusion of free choice you rub in our faces. I know that you're trying to tell a story, but pretending that the choices matter is far, far worse than not having any choices at all. But that's just my opinion. Is Far Cry 5 a great game? It's taken me about 3 hours to fully write this script, and that messy pool of emotions has settled down, and the magic 8 ball within reads, signs point to yes. Can an ending ruin a game? Definitely. Did this one? Nah. There's a lot they did wrong, but so much more they did right. Alright, Angry Rant over. Leave your opinion in the comments. Have a nice night.